You're listening to BS the podcast with
Benny Philhopper and Sal Zizzo. Enjoy!
The only thing I'm going to say is whenever I have my mustache, Michelle's like, what the hell is wrong with you? You look like Sash. That's the only thing I'll say.
More like she's like, oh, Benny, you look like Sash.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's episode 3 of BS the podcast with Benny Philhopper and Sal Zizzo. Sal, we made it to episode 3. What's up?
Not much, man. Excited for another great interview we have today with one of our good friends.
Sal, you sound tired, dude. You gotta give more energy here.
Yeah, when you work from 9 to 5, you're not a soccer player anymore. You start to fade at the end of the day, you know?
Man, I didn't think we were going to get this episode in with you selling houses left and right over there in San Diego, driving up and down the coast.
Mainly in Vegas, which is where I live. But, yeah, you could throw San Diego in there if you'd like.
Oh, yeah. Your current client, I guess, was driving all the way from San Diego just to see your house.
He was.
No, that's awesome. I hope you sold it and got some commission on it as well.
We'll see. He's putting in an offer, so it was tough to understand him because he is from Thailand, so there was a bit of a language barrier there.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you in that endeavor. And let's move on to what we got in store today. We'll talk a little bit about the NBA Finals since they're over, and we had that as a bit of discussion last week. We'll talk about the Women's World Cup, as the U.S. women are doing really well. 2 wins now. They're already on to the next round. Some controversy with celebrations and VAR in the World Cup so far, so we'll get into that kind of stuff. We got Gold Cup coming up. We've had, obviously the U.S. hasn't played yet. I think they might have once this comes out. I think they'll have played 1 game, but basically almost every team has played 1 game now. We're waiting for the U.S.'s game, so we won't be able to know the result of that, but we will talk about them a little bit. And we're excited as well to honor both of our good friend, Sacha Kljestan, onto the show.
Yeah, it's going to be nice talking to him. I played with him from, 2015 to 2017, 3 good years at New York Red Bulls. And the year I went to Atlanta, he went to Orlando, and he's been there ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Sash from before the Under-20 World Cup. I met him during those camps. I knew about him because we kind of had played against each other at club level.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that I got to play with him and got to know him, and we became pretty good friends. We actually did something similar to what we're doing now. We did an audio diary at that point in the Under-20s.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. Didn't you have a podcast with them? Was it the full team as well, maybe? Or was it only the 20s? Didn't you interview Eddie Johnson, maybe?
Yes, you're right. We did do like a sequel version to the U20 audio diary. But yeah, so it's going to be a great guest. He is one of the he's the only current player still playing that's in the top 10 of assists in MLS history. He has the 2nd best assist record in 1 season behind Carlos Valderrama. So let's welcome Sacha Kljestan. We're so lucky to have him.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Sal, what do you know about this guy? Have you played with him once or twice?
I have. He was one of my good buddies in New York. Not the best golfer, but very good at assists in soccer. So
wow.
Sacha, at least you don't get kicked off the course from your wife calling you, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, my wife knows that when I'm on the course, it's course time. But hey, congrats, guys! I just saw you guys got your millionth play on the Apple podcast store, so you guys are killing it. Congrats!
Yeah,
1 million.
We were able to get, I think, $10 in advertisement money this past month, so we'll split it between probably the 3 of us, actually.
Yeah, we're advertising Sal's real estate company.
Yeah, that'll be good. It'll probably bring me in a couple leads.
Hope that's going better than your golf game, so.
Yeah, no, my golf games, now that I'm retired and in Vegas, I mean, you should see where I'm at. I don't keep my handicap on that USAGA. I can't afford the $100 a year like you do, but
it's only like $50.
So, Sal, we know Sash. I feel like we all kind of came from the same area. You from San Diego, Sash Huntington, me Irvine. We all kind of played club soccer around the same time. I think, Sal, you're a couple years younger than me and Sash.
Correct.
But I feel like we know each other really well, but to be honest, we've never really played that often with one another. Me and Sash, we only played with the 20s and a few national team games, right? Never played any club level together. And you guys played for how many years together in New York?
3 years.
3 years. And me and you, Sal, we played together for a year.
A
right?
year. Yep.
So
Yeah,
I just think that's crazy where we all know each other really well, but
Yeah.
we've never really gotten that chance to play together. And I know me and Sash, we've always talked about how at one point we'll play together. Do you think we'll still be able to get that done before our careers end?
Oh, no. I was going to say we're definitely going to get to play men's league together, but definitely not professionally.
Bro,
I mean, you want to play till you're
free
40,
agent
though.
next year.
Yeah.
I am a free agent next year.
I'm a free agent next year as well, unless my option gets picked up, but I'm a free agent.
Maybe
So-
you guys can have like dinner and then just start calling every GM who wants both of you guys on the team,
We
like
could
LeBron did. And
we could do a little LeBron recruiting Kawhi.
D Wade, Chris Bosh.
Now that
I'm
you talk about Kawhi, by the way,
I'm surprised Sash didn't jump in on that when I said
Yeah.
that.
Well, Kawhi's going to the Clippers. It's kind of a foregone conclusion, so we don't really need to talk about it that much.
I will say this, and I'll leave my source unnamed. I have a very close friend of mine who knows Kawhi very well.
Oh, because
He
you're from
says-
San Diego?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
You're
And
a
he
big
said
Kawhi
that-
fan? Because you went
he
to
said
San Diego
this.
State?
San Diego State, all right?
It's Sal's
Let me
stepdad
finish
that
this.
bets
Let
on
me
college
finish
games.
this. He
Or stepdad,
told me
father-in-law.
that he's 90% Clippers, 10% Toronto.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's some good
cool.
news you'd like to hear. Yep.
I already told you he's going.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sal's the new Woj.
Yeah. Should I break it on Twitter first before anyone?
You should.
My 4,000 followers might. I don't know.
Dude, once you get credit for that, then you'll be the new Woj, or that one guy on ESPN that followed LeBron since he was in middle school. And now he's famous.
Yeah. I followed him. I remember that.
Brian Windhorst.
Yeah, that's the one.
He's got a
hey,
name,
Sal, Sash, did you hear our conversation with Ike on the last podcast about the NBA Finals? I wanted to make a bet on Golden State,
Yeah.
and Sal living in Vegas was going to be the guy that was going to do it for me.
Yeah.
And obviously,
And,
you know
yeah.
what
Sal's-
happened. He didn't give me the bet, but thankfully
Sal's lazy.
he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
Sal
Basically,
can't get it done.
he gave me a solid 5 minutes because there's casinos around every corner. and
He
every
lives
house
at
and-
Mandalay Bay, and he couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
I want to get into it, Sasha. I want to talk to you. So, like, basically, I replaced you on the podcast because you and Benny had a podcast with the national team.
Before
You guys
podcasts
interviewed-
were a
yeah.
thing. That was in
They-
2005.
What was that?
The
Yeah,
old
that-
Neil Beathy audio diary.
And there was only one place to stream it. I think it was on the national team website, right?
That's right.
That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Podcast. The word podcast hadn't even been invented yet. I don't think.
I think you guys actually invented it.
Yeah, it's
I
actually.
can't take
it's-
credit for that, but
Yeah, it's a word that was invented after we started our audio diary.
Wow, that's amazing. Who's some of the guys you guys interviewed?
I remember our very first interview was Andrew Cartoonin, who I'd say 99.9% of our listeners won't know who that was. Actually, he played in Kansas City,
played
didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah,
I think he
believe
got
did.
drafted by KC.
Wasn't he the goalie at Harvard?
Stanford.
Stanford. That's what it was.
But I don't know if he played with Kansas City, but I know he got drafted by them. I'm pretty sure. So maybe some of our listeners from Kansas City, which is all our entire followers, maybe they actually do know who he is. But yeah, I remember he was our first. Some people should go back, and maybe Nino, our producer, can
Yeah.
do some work and actually find some of those clips, because that's a gold mine right there.
What's up? This is Benny Fehlhaber,
And Sacha Kljestan.
and we're just doing our first diary here in Holland. And we've been here for about 3 or 4 days, and we came up on a big plane we came up here on.
Yeah, that's so bad.
My personal favorite guest we had on our podcast was a few years later, and it was Eddie Johnson.
Yeah, we're gonna try to
just
get those
brought him
clips.
up before we got you on there. We were just talking about that was at Copa America, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
This dude got so angry at us.
We did. We abused it. We abused the situation.
Well, we did the same thing to almost every guest on that show, where it was we must have thought it was really funny.
We thought
Just
it was
tag teamed him,
very
right?
funny.
Yeah.
Sash, tell
Some of your goal
tell 'em what we did
celebrations
to
you
Eddie
guys thought were
Johnson,
pretty
dude.
funny at the time too. You guys were all into the emo.
Some stuff
Vibe going
doesn't.
on.
Some stuff doesn't age well when you've played this long. So
You're actually and the hair too, right? You're right.
the
dude.
hair as
That's
well.
Crazy.
The hair as well.
Wow.
Dude, all I remember from that podcast, especially that Copa America one with Eddie Johnson, was we tried to do the little bit where we would ask him a question and then cut him off, and this man didn't take it very well.
I think he might have walked out on us. He was not happy because I think he was trying to like walk into a legit conversation and we were not letting it happen.
Oh, that's great. I
man.
need to hear that back.
I hope Eddie's listening to this.
What's up?
yeah.
What's up, EJ? How are you, bro? It's been a long time.
Yeah, we had some good moments on the audio diary, and now we switched it over to the podcast, but still the same shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm proud of you guys. Well done.
All right, Sal, what are we getting into this week?
Well, I'd like to get into the Women's World Cup a little bit. So we missed our last podcast was before the 13-0 thrashing of the U.S. women's national team. So I kind of want to hear Sasha's opinion on kind of what went down and at what point do you just stop scoring and pass the ball around the back? I mean, or do you think it's fine? I mean, what do you think?
I think it's completely fine. I think, the World Cup only comes around every 4 years, and sometimes you only get a chance to play in it once. I never got the chance to play in the World Cup, so I think if I came into a 12 or 13-0 game, I'd be doing everything in my power to get an easy goal, to get my only ever World Cup goal. And I don't know if I would celebrate as hard as they did, but I don't fault them for doing that. And I think that, the World Cup is something special. We don't know each player's life story and what it took for them to get there. And I don't think anybody can ever take that away from them, so they can celebrate however they want, in my opinion.
Well said. I pretty much agree with everything you said. I mean, I've talked about it with some other people, and I agree.
I'm right there with you. I would go even one further as to say, goal differential is part of the tiebreaker. I think it's the first tiebreaker. And so if you're playing against a team that's 13 goals worse than you, you should try and get 13 goals or more. If it didn't happen, but the Swedish team? Is it Swedish team that's in the same bracket as the U.S.?
Yeah, they beat Thailand 5-1.
They won 5-1. But what if they win 14-0? Now they have the tiebreaker. They can tie the U.S. and take first in the group.
Yeah.
So not only do I think it's okay to score, I think you should try and score as much as you can. Now, if it's a knockout game, in my opinion, if I'm the coach and you're up 3-4, 5-0, the game's over, now I'm telling my team to do everything in their power to not get tired. And I would say that not scoring is probably, it's better to keep possession at that point than go out and score. But yeah, I would say scoring, they should go out and score as many goals as they can.
What about the celebration part of it?
For me, the celebration can be, I know that I think it's a very good point what Sash said, and I don't even think I had thought about it. Everybody's got a different story in which how they got to that team and how, how did they get to making a World Cup team and playing in a World Cup. And so I understand that part of it. I think there was some celebrations that seemed excessive, but at the same time, I didn't watch the whole game. I only watched like little bits and highlights, so I can't even have a really good opinion on it. I know that if I scored, even in the World Cup, if I had scored, the 13th goal, the 12th goal, whatever, I think just because of the score, my celebrations would have been just subdued. But I think that's also a personality thing. It's different for every person.
Yeah.
I also think that the women are still, despite being probably the best women's soccer team in the world, still fighting for respect here in America. And they have a lot of huge expectations on their shoulders. And I think to go out in that first game and really set the tone, I think part of that was the reason why they celebrated so hard as well. And obviously with their fight for equal pay and all that's going on with them right now.
Yeah.
And that's another good point. I don't know the ins and out of every bit of that story with equal pay. I'm curious, Sash, do you know more about it, or would you put an opinion forth or anything like that?
I mean, I would say I think they deserve equal pay. I think we've talked about equal rights for everybody in our country, as a big hope for everyone. So I think they deserve equal pay, although I don't know the ins and outs of how much they earn playing for the national team, because I believe they're paid a salary, whereas the men's team is paid bonuses. So I don't know how it equals out. But I would say they deserve equal pay, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'd agree with you exactly. Similar things. I don't like you said, I don't know every single detail about it, but they do get paid in salary. I know that the men's team doesn't get paid in salary as they get paid by their club teams. So it's the bonuses. I know what they were and what they kind of are right now with the men's team. I don't know what the women's are. My whole thing is if I think of it, because I feel like I'm always a very logical person, and I always feel like it kind of depends how much money you bring in, right? It's an economy question at that point.
Yeah,
how much do you bring in? How much do you get? Percentages, whatever. And I'm not gonna say it's one way or another, but I've heard through reports, and some reports are varying, that the women have actually brought in more money than the men, even though men's soccer obviously gets a bigger following on TV. So if that's the case, then dude, I hope that they get more than us, so that then we can go and fight and try and get more again, right? So hopefully all the players get more money, but if that's the case, they should be getting more than us if they're getting more revenue as well, correct?
Yeah, I totally agree.
I agree with both of you guys, and you can tell. I mean, I think they kind of welcomed that 13-0 thrashing and having a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And, everybody's already out to get them. So, they're against the world anyway. So,
it's not a bigger target, right? They're already the favorites anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like, and the funny thing is, if this was for the men's team, dude, this would be the best thing we could ever hope for in the men's team, because how much more, like CNN is talking about this stuff, right? How often is CNN talking about men's soccer? Even in the World Cup, I think it's limited. It's been the big story. So this is almost, it's crazy that women's national team soccer in the U.S. is bigger than men's in terms of, streaming on TV and national audience and that kind of thing. And so it's funny just looking at the other way. If this was happening for the men's team, if the men's played, I don't know, I can't even think of a team that we could play in the World Cup that we could beat, 10-0.
Yeah.
But if that were to happen and we got this kind of conversation, I think we'd embrace it, just because it'd be so many people talking about our sport. And I think that's just a positive in its own.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's a good segue. We could talk about the men's team now, because they're starting Gold Cup as well. And so,
both of you guys have played in Gold Cup, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Sal,
did you guys win? Did any of you guys win?
I won in 2007, Sal. Don't give me that.
I love how Sal, you said I won in 2007 because he scored the game-winning goal, not we.
No, I said because you weren't on the team on that team. That's why I said I.
That's true.
Or else I would have said we.
I only played in the 2011 Gold Cup, and that's when we lost in the final to Mexico 4-2, I believe.
Okay.
We would have played together in that tournament had I not got injured the day before the team got together. I was devastated.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Well,
but having said that, Sacha, have you been following their results? I know they played Venezuela, and before that they played Jamaica, and they lost 1-0 and 3-0.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of those games?
I did not see any of the Jamaica game, but I did watch the Venezuela game. Obviously, two not good games, bad results, and also, not great performances. But I do like what Greg Berhalter is trying to do, and I think the feeling of importance and honor that comes with playing for the national team is coming back into the team, which I think was lacking for a while. So I'm excited to watch them play this summer.
That's cool. I watched the other game. I watched the Jamaica game, or I guess maybe a half and a half of the Jamaica game. They didn't look good. I didn't watch the Venezuela game. I heard it was worse. And I'd agree with you, and I know, Sal, we've talked about this as well with Berhalter. we've both enjoyed what he did with Columbus as a coach. I think that he's trying to do something a little different with the national team. It's not exactly the same approach. It's almost kind of what Man City did a little bit with the outside backs coming inside, playing as almost D-mids at times. And I talked about this with you, Sal, that my only worry is at the club level, you can go out and get players that fit your system. At the national team level, not so much. You gotta you gotta have a system that fit the players that you have at your disposal. And I'm still not convinced that the system might be a good one, but I'm not convinced that we have the players to fit that system. So it will be very interesting to watch a Gold Cup and see if there's a progression during the World Cup or during the Gold Cup to see if the team like evolves a little bit and becomes more cohesive. But it hasn't shown yet.
I have a quick question. So I went into it a little bit with our episode with Ike, but Sacha, you having played for Red Bull as well, do you think that system would give the U.S. a better chance of results or performing in a World Cup opposed to
the Red Bull system?
Like the Red Bull system, yes.
I do think that it would benefit the national team, I think, to play that way.
Yeah. Based on the players as well, right? I mean,
sometimes, based on the players. I think just having a certain idea how to play, but that's hard when you play for a national team, like we were saying with Berhalter, to come in and try to get the team to all understand and be on the same page when you only are together every so often. And then like Ben was saying with the players as well, I think maybe when everybody in the pool is healthy and he has all his best players that he can pull in, I think I can see it definitely working, because I think there are some good pieces, but let's be honest, how often is he ever going to get his strongest, best 11 on the field with injuries and suspensions and all that stuff that happens in international soccer? So it's hard.
I agree. Yeah, I keep thinking about Bob a little bit because, Sash, you played with Bob at the club level as well and obviously at the national team level. And from my experience, of course, he's evolved and he's become a different coach over time. You had him before the national team. I had him after. But I feel like he's different at the international level and at the club level. And I feel like one of the big reasons why is because he has more time with his club team. Yeah. He's able to do certain things that are more, time consuming. You have to have more trainings, more time with your players. Whereas with the national team, it seemed like it was a very organized way of playing, but it wasn't like a free flowing where, we had certain movements that we were supposed to do offensively. We kind of played, organized defense. We're a tough team to beat, and we let our good players make the game going forward, whether it be on the counterattack or set pieces or whatever. And so it's a different ball game, dude. And that's the only thing I wonder if we'll be able to, catch on quickly enough to be successful.
Yeah, I think obviously Bob's a very good coach, and I think he had it figured out how to get the best out of our best players probably, and then also set us up in a way that maybe, we didn't have to be the team that was like overloading the midfield or playing, a ton of possession and things like that. But, basically the best way that we could get results. And playing with the national team is different than club soccer. The game is more physical. Every game means a little something more, so every play matters. And so, you don't have time also to be working on, playing perfect soccer as well, I think.
Yeah, things get kind of simplified at that level. And he has at LAFC the best player in the world currently, so that helps. Yeah.
Will he be on this short or the long list for Ballon d'Or if he gets 30 goals and 20 assists?
Probably not.
Sadly, no.
But he should be.
Yeah, you're right. Bob has a great roster right now, but at the same time, I was there last year, and I can tell you how much that team has improved in a year, and it's big. So,
but I also think Bob would do things differently probably as the national team coach now. I mean, he's probably just learned so much over his how long's it been? The gap since now 10 years maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like playing, right? With Sash, we've had this conversation where, and even Sal, we talked about it with Andy on the first episode, that the older you get, the more you rely on the things that you've learned, your experience, the way you read the game, seeing things quicker than a lot of younger players, and so that's the same stuff for coaches. The more you coach, I think the better you're going to get at it. You're going to see what works, what doesn't work, and so you evolve as well.
Sash, can you see yourself coaching maybe when you're done playing?
Yeah, I think so. I think over the past couple of years, I've pretty much made the decision that I'm going to coach as soon as I'm done playing.
Nice.
You're not gonna be a real estate agent?
I'm gonna pass on the real estate offer and try to stick with the
I might need an assistant in a
soccer.
couple years. You sure?
Bro, Sal,
or hell, I might be looking for a job. So
Sal, I don't want to bring you
available.
down, but I could not. You could not have picked a more awful job for if I was the one. Like my future being a real estate, I think I couldn't do it. That's like the number one job I wouldn't be able to do.
Really?
Don't disrespect him, Benny. He's a real estate guru.
Hey. To each their own. To each their own. I enjoy it.
The real estate guru. We might have found your nickname for the show.
Estate guru.
I want to ask one question for all you guys though. So we'll start with Sash. With that being said, with all the things that we talked about, national team, what do you think their chances are to win the Gold Cup, or how do you think they'll fare? How do you think they'll do?
I would say they're the second favorites to win the tournament. I think Mexico, despite missing a lot of key players as well. I mean, the U.S. is missing a lot of key players, but I would say Mexico, for the moment, looks stronger. But if you get to a final, anything can happen. So I think they're setting the bar high that they should be aiming to make the final and trying to beat Mexico. Although I would just say Mexico is probably the favorites going into the tournament.
Yeah. Sal?
Yeah, I mean, I think every Gold Cup, it's the U.S. as the second favorite. Actually, there were a few years where we were probably favored over Mexico, but yeah, I would say Mexico's the favorite, and anything less than a trip to the finals would be somewhat disappointing, even though, it is a process, this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I think you want to get to the finals.
Yeah. I would say I think Mexico are clear favorites in my mind. I think regardless of missing players, I think they're like B+ team or whatever it is stronger than our B+ team by a good margin. Now, does that mean that the U.S. can't beat Mexico? No. I mean, they could definitely beat them. If I had to guess, I think the U.S. will obviously qualify from group play, albeit I don't see them playing that well. I think they'll play one good game in the knockout round, probably the quarterfinals, and then I could see them winning the whole thing, and I could see them losing in the semis. I think that's where I say that they finish either
top four.
If they don't finish top four, that's going to be a really bad Gold Cup. But I could see them struggling with. I mean, there's some other teams that are good now, man. Costa Rica's good.
I'm really interested
Honduras
to watch Canada
is dangerous
play.
Sometimes. I watched. Did you watch Canada the first game?
I didn't know, but they have some really good attacking pieces and midfield pieces, and I think they're going to be pretty good.
Is Davies playing?
Yeah, he's playing left wing. So I watched the first game for Canada. They struggled a bit for the first 10-15 minutes. They didn't play that well. They could have gone down 1-0. And then when they scored the goal, they started feeling more confident. They were able to get a second, and then they ended up winning 4-0. So they looked better once they got going. So if Canada gets going, I agree with you, Sach. I think they got some nice pieces. I got my buddy Mark Anthony Kay playing over there. He's doing well, although he's playing left back, which I don't love. But they've got some good players on that team. I could see it like them against the U.S. It won't surprise me if Canada beats the U.S. Canada, Costa Rica. There's a lot of teams that are coming up, and they've got good players now. So I think anything can happen once you get to around the semifinals. So we'll see. I think it'll be tough for the U.S. to win this Gold Cup, but I'm excited to watch them play.
Sal, did you write any notes down about things you wanted to talk about today with me?
No, I've kind of brought up the stuff I'd like to talk to you about.
Okay. I gotta say,
Sal's the talent. He doesn't work. He doesn't do anything. So he's just the talent. He shows up and he just talks, and everybody likes his voice, and he's funny.
All right. Sal, I gotta say, I miss being your teammate because I miss the Breachville card games, bro.
Yeah, we had good card games back in the day. What was it? Luis, Mike Grella, me, and you.
Yeah, that was a solid.
You guys put a whooping on the Italians from time to time on that game.
You Italians,
even though we invented it, but
you guys did. It was an Italian card game, Benny, that they taught to Luis Robles and I, and then
was that the one with the swords?
Yes.
The
use
cards have
regular
it, but
cards.
we use American cards because Sasha just wasn't too into like looking at bats and coins, things like that. So.
I was like it.
Yeah, I remember you taught us, and we had to play with the cards.
Yeah, you got to. You got to slam them down, and got to get espresso as well at the same time. But
the two Italians as partners, it was just always infighting and bickering, and it was a hostile environment actually.
But it was fun.
But it was fun because I took a lot of money off you guys.
And now they're retired. So you feel bad?
Now we're both retired.
Yeah, it's actually weird when you start to see guys that are either the same age as you or younger than you that are retiring.
Yeah.
And you
Bro,
start
tons of guys, Sash.
Yeah, I know.
I'm younger than both of you. And
yeah, I know. I'm not trying to be.
Sal, you're one of the older ones though. That like, there's been guys at 24 have retired recently.
Yeah, you're right.
It's crazy.
Right.
And Sash, you want to play till you're like 40? Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't really see I don't see the end of the tunnel for me anytime soon, so I'm just going to keep pushing this thing along as far as I can, as long as I can.
So you should.
I like that.
Physically,
All
I
right,
still
well,
feel good.
That's great. I think that you should keep playing until no one will pay you. That's what you should keep doing.
Sasha, as you know, if you in your next team, if you do happen to leave Orlando, I am a real estate agent, so I can.
I already saw that one coming.
I love a referral. I can give you a good referral on some agents if you need any.
Are you only licensed in Nevada?
I am only licensed in Nevada, but I get a nice little 25% commission if I refer you. So
25%
of the 3%.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
25 of the 3. That's
25
like
of the 3
0.75.
is good. That's like All right, cool.
The amount of houses. I mean, the price point you're at. I mean, that's gonna be a solid 10 G's for me. I mean, come on. I mean. Even just
0.75%. That's gonna do some damage there.
Yeah.
That's Caprice.
That's
Caprice college fun, to be honest.
Speaking,
only one kid's going to college now.
Which wing in the house are you in? Are you in the left or the right? The west wing?
Yeah, I'm in the master suite right now.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
The butler's out for the
butler's quarters. Okay. Nice.
All right, Sash. This is I'm gonna switch gears, and there's something new on the show this week for any avid fans that have listened to both the first episode and the second episode. We have a special surprise guest / maybe mainstay on the show that's coming in with his new bit, a new format, and his. Here he is. I'm just going to introduce him. I think most people know him already, obviously, and this is going to be called Ike's Interrogation. Down, down, down. Nino's got to find something good there to go there.
Down, wow, wow, wow.
Ike, you're live. Go ahead and explain yourself.
Well, thank you guys for having me back on here. Great podcast. So it's now going to go downhill with the invite of me. So Sash, I'm going to ask you, I don't know how many questions I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask you 6 questions. You get to plead the 5th on one, and you can choose not to answer that one, but the other 5 you must answer. So I'm going to rattle them off all in order, and then we'll see what you got.
So am I going to answer? Dark. Am I going to answer one by one, or do I get to choose the one question?
So I'm going to ask all 6, and then you are going to eliminate one.
Wow.
And then you go one by one. I'm
Sash,
sorry.
write them down, dude. Write them down somewhere.
Should I really?
Oh, I got it. Well,
no, I got it. Go ahead.
I think you'll know the one that you probably don't want right off the bat. I don't know what it'll be, but the first one is, obviously you've had different experiences in your career, but which one are you enjoying more between Chivas USA and Orlando City? The second question is, what is the hardest place to play in MLS? 3, who is a better striker between Bradley Wright and Dominic Dwyer, and why? Yeah. Number 4, whose stash is better between you and Benny when they really want one? 5, you've talked a lot of soccer on this podcast, which has actually been really interesting, but who do you think is the most fascinating team on and off the field to watch between the U.S. women's and men's team? And 6, if you had to, abandon one of Benny or Sal on the island to die, who are you saving? And I actually kind of want to keep that one going for every guest moving forward because I think it'd be a great tally.
So I can't plead the fifth on that last one.
No, you can't.
And you shouldn't, based on some of the other questions I heard.
No, you can be cool about him.
What was the first one? Did he enjoy his time more at Chivas USA?
No. Listen, he was young. He was living in L.A. Yeah. Which experience did he enjoy more between that and Orlando? I think Orlando has a lot of positives. You're older. You get to live on the beach.
You get to enjoy rain every afternoon.
You also have your family. I mean, what's more fun, family life or going out all the time?
The latter? Wait, what?
All right. I don't think I need to plead the fifth for any. I think I can just answer them.
I love this.
Ooh.
I love it.
Right? I mean, I got to set the tone here. Whoever comes on next.
I love that. So there's not one right off the bat that you say, I don't want to deal with.
No.
All right, let's go. So I want to hear him.
Go. All right. First question is about Chivas or Orlando. What did I enjoy more? Is that the way you worded it?
Yep. What experience?
I would say
off the field. It could be either or both.
I would say they're very close because, like you said, off the field, now I have a family and living in Orlando has been really fun to watch my kids both grow up and have my daughter go to school here. But I got to say the experience of playing for Chivas, I think, was better for me. And I think I enjoyed it more because, one, we were a winning team and we made the playoffs every year that I played there. Got to play with a lot of really good older experienced players. Obviously became very close with Jesse Marsh, who was my teammate for 4 years and eventually was my coach for 3 years. Got to play for Bob Bradley, who I learned a lot from, broke into the national team. So I think being a young guy, I walked into a really good situation at Chivas and played a lot.
Ooh, breezed through that one.
I can say, I'll just add one little tidbit on that. While you were playing there, I was playing in Hamburg or not playing in Hamburg very often. And I remember I was very jealous coming to your games and watching you get to play in Southern California and do as well as you did. And so you were definitely in a great place there, I thought.
Thanks, Benny. My other favorite part, sorry I didn't get to mention, was when I played for Chivas and Benny was playing at Hamburg. He would come back during the summertime and train with Chivas. And then at this point, just to get ready for the Gold Cup and for Copa America, and he was playing for the national team and things like that. And Preki was the coach at that point. And I don't think Preki liked Benny or his personality very much. And so we would train, and then Benny would have to train by himself on the side, with the injured players. And he would be so furious. It was the best. I loved it.
I actually played with Chivas USA for a few months. Actually, right after you left, Sacha. You left at a very good time. Yeah, because when I got there, things were turning into the real Chivas USA. And
Preki now, by the way, is assistant at Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Still won't shake my hand.
Really? I actually had a very good conversation with Preki about a month ago when we played in Seattle.
Yeah, you do quite the impression, too. We should maybe get that on video.
That's for the next one.
Yeah.
All right.
What's
Number
the next
two.
question?
Number two, since I'm currently melting in Houston, what is the hardest place for you to play in MLS?
The hardest place, I would probably say Kansas City. I think playing at KC, the stadium's always full. The fans are always into it. They seem like a pretty knowledgeable bunch of soccer fans. And then I just think the way the team always plays when they play at home, Kansas City, obviously you guys have a really good style of play. You guys keep the ball well. You make teams run. You guys can win it back quickly. So it always seems to be a difficult game when I play at KC.
I love how you said you guys as though Ike's still here. Ike, you coming back soon or what?
Well, I'm looking at my watch right now, and I haven't hit the six-month minimum requirement to go away. So,
Sash, I'm kind of. I agree.
Oh yeah,
with that.
Sal
you
there.
guys all played there. That's why I said you guys.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's okay.
We get it. We get it.
We get it. Sash.
Yeah, they're gonna be my team when I'm done. When I retire, Kansas City will be my team. It's all good.
Benny had to come crawling back to KC. So
Oh, this guy couldn't wait. Crawling at PV's heels. Loved it. All right, 3. Bradley Wright or Dominic Dwyer?
I mean, I think, my answer would be obvious that I played with Bradley Wright Phillips for 3 years. I've only been with Dom for a year and a half. And the amount of success that Bradley and I had together was part of the best moments of my career. So getting to play along Bradley was pretty awesome. Sal can attest to this too, being his teammate, that he's just an awesome guy and a super hard worker, and obviously a very good forward who, the most important thing he gets judged on is scoring goals, and he's scored a ton of them. So BWP for me.
Easy answer. Breeze. All right, Stash, you and Benny. I think this is a no-brainer for me. But
yeah, no-brainer also.
I think
no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer for every single person in this planet except for Benny, probably.
Yeah.
Even Benny's
It's
wife
obvious.
would attest to Sacha.
I'm
Yeah,
giving
it's
Benny the
obviously
chance
me.
to argue, though.
All right, we'll give Benny a chance. I'll say, okay, I've had mine since 2013. It only comes off every once in a while, and then within 2-3 weeks, it's back. Benny grows it in the playoffs, but he matches it with a terrible haircut every time he does it, which is weird. And then
It almost looks
I
like
don't
his
know.
daughter cuts his hair every single time.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
bad it is. I don't think he gets
Look,
a professional cut.
I'm not going to argue it, other than the only thing I'm going to say is whenever I have my mustache, Michelle's like, what the hell is wrong with you? You look like Sash. That's the only thing I'll say.
Okay. There you go.
More like she's like, oh, Benny, you look like Sash. Sorry, Michelle.
All right, more fascinating team. U.S. women's or U.S. men's, with all the storylines going on, and obviously the tournaments that each are in.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's obvious too right now. That's the women's team. They're the defending world champs. They went out in the, I think, quarterfinals of the Olympics, so they're kind of on a redemption tour right now. They want to prove to everybody that they're the best. They smacked Thailand in the first game. I think they're very interesting right now, and I think almost everybody in America is pulling for them to win the gold medal again.
And everyone in America is pulling for Canada to win the Gold Cup? I'm confused.
That's true.
I actually want Canada to do well, dude. I want Canada to do well.
I had this conversation at training a couple of weeks ago because I believe the women's World Cup final and the men's Gold Cup final is on the same day.
It's
Really?
a disgrace. Correct.
Yeah. And I think the Copa America final is that day too, which is
I think so as well.
crazy.
Well,
But
then,
I was saying
Gold
I think
Cup
if
gets the lowest rating easily.
I agree, and I was saying if both men's team the men's team and the women's team both make the final, I think the women's World Cup final would be like double or triple the ratings at least.
Yeah.
And
on
deservedly
TV.
so.
Yeah, deservedly so.
That's crazy. Why would they do that? That seems like detrimental to both.
No respect, Benny. No respect.
Welcome to
Yeah, but that
patriarchy,
doesn't make
Benny.
any sense. Like Gold Cup, why would Gold Cup do that? They're going to have less viewers as well. It's going to be
believe-
divided as opposed
Is
to
it
like
FIFA
probably.
or who?
I believe the
It's
CONCACAF
CONCACAF.
president. I think the
CONCACAF
CONCACAF president came out and said that it was a mistake and that he
Okay.
felt bad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he felt
thinking
bad
about-
because they're going to get less money now.
Someone got fired. Someone didn't know.
You're thinking logical, Benny. You're thinking too logical. People in positions of power rarely do, which is really weird.
Yeah, we need
All right.
controversy on the show.
Well, this is going to be it. Number 6, my favorite question. Who's got to die on the island, Sal or Benny? Because I'm hoping that we get to 100 guests and it becomes 100 guests that Sal survives.
I don't know. I don't know.
Why do you want me to die?
I've had some interesting talks with Sacha.
No.
This will be closer than you think, Ike.
Am I allowed to plead the fifth on this one?
If that's
Yeah,
the one
but
you're
you
going to
said
plead,
you weren't going to.
All right.
Yeah.
If I had to, so how is one of my two friends gonna die? Like right in front of me?
you have to stab him in the back as you think.
So
As
not
you
only
get off-
metaphorically, but literally,
Yes.
you're going to have to.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna base this one solely on who I've known longer, and I've known Benny longer. Sal.
Sal
I
is
already,
using
you know what?
explicitives
I
right now.
already did one really good thing for Sal in my life that I can always hold on to, and
What's
Sal
that?
has told me that I'm part of the reason why him and Destiny are together today.
True.
Wow.
That's
I supported him through, I think, the early part of their relationship, and I
Yeah.
encouraged him to stick it out and keep
That's
going
smart.
with
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
And
yeah.
So now I can stab you in the back since I made you happy for like 10 years.
since you blossomed me into this beautiful marriage, you can then
Yeah.
just make her
3 little girls because of me, bro.
right. You're absolutely right.
And a nice house in Las Vegas and a budding real estate career.
Hopefully it's not budding very long. Hopefully it's gonna be
Sprouted.
yeah. Yes, is that yeah.
That's
Oh
awesome.
man.
Ike, good questions, man.
That's Ike's interrogation right there. Thanks, Ike.
Yeah, now I'm gonna carry on living my life and try to stay inside.
Hey,
All right.
stay hydrated. Good luck in the game tomorrow.
Wear that sunscreen, huh?
We appreciate you as always.
I got factory installed something, so relax.
All right. Well, that was Ike's interrogation. We'll have more of that hopefully on the next show if Ike makes himself available for us. And do we have anything else for Sash, Sal?
Oh no, I think
I have
that was-
one question.
Well,
Sash.
actually, no. Wait, let me go first. All right,
go ahead.
And this is a little bit of both of us, and I just kind of want to know. This is another question. Who were the most? And I think I'm gonna know the answer. Which fans are the hardest to play for that you've ever played for?
Yeah, I think New York Red Bulls is
I'd say
Really?
the answer. Yeah, I think they're very demanding. I think, they're very into it, which is awesome. You know, they love their team. And also they're fans that have been fans of the club for like 24 years now and never won MLS Cup. So they're just like, they want to win MLS Cup so bad. But they're very demanding. And I think if you would look at like the last 6-7 years, basically since Red Bull Arena opened, like how much of a winning record the Red Bulls have at home.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
think there'd be a little bit more positive outlook from the fans, but
yeah, because like
seems to be a lot of negativity.
Yeah,
Well, you guys won what, 2 supporter shields when you were there?
we won one while we were there, and then they won it again last year.
Yeah.
And they won one, I think, the two years before we got there as well. And they get to watch a great product. Like most of their home games are dominating wins, you know. But they're very
and
demanding.
a product, yeah. And
Man,
they could be proud of it. I mean, players have come from really they've developed players probably best in I think in the MLS. I mean, you can see a national team. I mean, that's Matt Miazga, Aaron Long, Tyler Adams. I mean, these guys, 2 of them were in the actual academy, and then the other one, was basically brought up through the USL program. So, I mean,
no, I think they are. I think they are proud.
From an outsider's perspective, I think that Red Bulls has always been, since I've been in the league, one of the best teams in the league in terms of, sorry, I just got a little echo in my ear, but you know that you're going to get a tough game from them. You know that they're going to play well at home. I love that stadium. I love playing at that stadium. I think stadium, for just the stadium, I think it's the coolest stadium in the league.
I agree completely.
I think
it feels like a soccer stadium, a European soccer stadium.
I think it's unfortunate that it doesn't get packed, because if it got packed every game, it would be an amazing environment. Yeah. But I think it's the coolest stadium, so it's always fun to play there. I think they're a team that, like Kansas City, has a very obvious way that they want to play, and that's an important thing for a club as well. And so I think it's unfortunate, and it's just like getting over that hump, right? It's like literally it's similar to like the Raptors, where they've been good in the regular season for so many years, but then they get knocked out by LeBron every year, and then finally this year they were able to do it all. So they're just waiting for that one MLS Cup.
Yeah, let's not forget when I scored the winner there this year, and they booed me though, so that was fun too.
Yeah, but I'm sure that
they're tough. They're a tough crowd. I think I can attest to that more than anyone. So
I'm surprised you were going to say Anderlecht or something, even though you guys won a lot.
Anderlecht was also very demanding, but we won a lot more, and we got to celebrate championships. All 3 championships that we won while I were there were games where we clinched the title on our home field. So it was always cool to get to celebrate at home and not on the road.
Yeah. No, that
what was your question, Benny?
My question is, and I think this is the last question for you, Sash. You said that you want to play until you're 40. You're 34 in September, right?
Yeah.
So you're definitely playing next year. Like I said, you're a free agent. Where will Sacha Kljestan be playing opening day next year?
Oh, that's a good question, Ike, and I'm going to have to plead the 5th on that one.
This isn't a plead the 5th.
Nah, but honestly, Benny, I have no idea, dude. I'm definitely going to go into free agency for the first time in my career. I'm pretty
Let me tell you, it's not as cool as you think.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of an uneasy feeling going in, because I don't think I ever got, only when I played at Chivas, I got within 6 months of my contract ending, and then I left for Anderlecht and signed a 4-year deal. And while I was there, I signed another 3-year deal. I went to New York on a 4-year deal. I've been down here on a 2-year deal, and it's expiring in about 6 months, and this is the closest I've ever gotten to becoming a free agent. So it's a feeling I haven't really had before, and it's a bit uneasy, and I'm not totally sure what's going to happen next season, but I'm pretty excited about it as well.
Yeah, I've only had, I think it was probably 8 total seasons where my contract was expiring at the end of the year, and I didn't know what I was doing. So
yeah, it's not a fun feeling, but
it is very uneasy.
I guess if I could answer your question, Benny, it would be since we're going to be playing together, it's wherever you're playing.
Oh, I love that.
Where
I
are you
love that.
gonna
I hope that happens.
Whatever
does happen, though, I think
that's pretty unrealistic at this point, but we'll see.
Guys,
you
I
never know.
can still play a little bit. Like maybe I come out of retirement.
Salziza, maybe you do the.
Hey, that's the second episode in a row. Sal's said maybe he'll come out of retirement.
Yeah, maybe.
Pull the
My body's never felt better. Shout out.
All right,
all those MLS coaches listening.
We appreciate you coming on the show. Obviously, me and Sal wish you nothing but the best next year for wherever you do end up and for the rest of the season. Like I said in the introduction, you're the only current player in the top 10 of assists in MLS all-time record, and so I'm hoping you keep climbing up that list, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get to play together before we retire. If not, we'll do some Sunday League.
We will.
I will say, Sasha, I thoroughly enjoyed playing with you, and I've talked to a lot of players that have played with you, and I would say 99% of them, if not 100%, all enjoy playing with you. So.
Underappreciated player, correct,
yes,
Sal?
Very unappreciated. Very
feel like
easy player, very unselfish player. Doesn't matter who you are, he'll pass you the ball. He'll get you in good spots. He'll make you look good. So,
well, shout out to you. Much, both of you guys. Thanks for having me. I hope this podcast gets to I'm episode 3, so I think episode 55. So that would be exactly a year from now. If you guys keep doing one every week, I hope you'll have me back.
All right, sounds good.
You're locked 55.
in.
You're locked in.
2020.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, good. Sasha. We appreciate it. Go have fun with your family.
All right. Later.
All right. Take care, Sasha.
Later. That was an amazing show. We're glad you guys stuck around with us today. Sasha, I think, was a really good guest. Asked plenty of, really intelligent questions in terms of soccer with the U.S. soccer team, the men's soccer team, his entire career in MLS and abroad. And so that was a fun guest to talk to. So,
yeah, it was nice to have one of our close friends that we've known for quite a while. Yeah, it was really cool to talk to him and see how things were going in Orlando, and he always has great opinions.
Yeah. I don't need to bore anybody with anything else. I think we've talked about everything, and so just a reminder, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, DL or stream on TuneIn, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, or Google Play, and then obviously rate and comment on Instagram and Twitter for us. We love all you followers. I think you guys are so important for us to continue to grow as a podcast and become better at podcasting and interviewing. And so it's awesome that you guys are following us. And like we said, just email us your thoughts on BennySalThePodcast@gmail.com and continue to spread the word. We want to have as many listeners listening to our intelligent opinions as much as possible. So, go do your thing. We appreciate you guys.
Please share with your friends, and thank you, like always, for listening.
All right, Sal, I'm gonna go get a beer because we got a day off tomorrow, and nice. The girls are in bed, and so you go sell some houses.
Yeah, no, I'm actually gonna go enjoy my backyard. We just got it all nice and landscaped. Got a nice little hot tub, so might sit back there and relax a little bit.
I enjoy that Coos box.
All right.
All right. Later, man.
All right, later.